Hi, sir, to all of you viewers of Equinoxe Television, 6 p.m. in Douala. It's time for the news. Thank you so much for joining us. Following the increase in the price of fuel across the national territory, the price of transportation costs has also increased in Cameroon. According to a communique signed yesterday, taxi fare in Cameroon has moved from 300 francs to 350 francs CFA. We tell you more about the reactions of Cameroonians in this edition of the news. And also we take you to Bamenda to present to you to the northwest region to present to you the plight of those who stay in Wom. Wom is a village in the Menchum division of the northwest region following the blockage of the road leading from Wom to Bamenda. Those were our major stories. Details when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. We just told you in the headlines that the transportation cost, especially taxi fare, has increased from 300 to 350 francs CFA officially in Cameroon. That was in a communique which was signed yesterday, and interurban adult travelers in Cameroon over a distance of 267 kilometers, for example, would have to disburse the sum of 4,272 francs CFA. This is part of the specifications of the newly announced official transport fare in Cameroon by the government. The measures also fixes the new fare for township taxis from 300 to 350 francs CFA. Let's now have more with Fomi Armstrong Sander.
The new pricing in force for urban and interurban transportation in Cameroon was formalized by a release from the Minister of Trade, Luc Magrambarga, at Tangana late Monday, February the 26th, 2024. Detailing the new pricing as approved by the government of Cameroon, the minister placed urban transport by taxi at 300 francs CFA during the day for pickups and 400 francs CFA during the night for pickup. For hired taxi, the minister set the rate at 3,000 francs CFA during the day and 3,500 francs CFA at night. The release says night period begins from 10 p.m. running till 5 a.m. For semi-urban and inter-urban transportation by bus, children aged between 0 to 7 will travel free of charges, while those aged 8 to 10 are charged 8 francs CFA per kilometer. The press release also underlines the ceiling pricing for pupils and students as well as people with reduced mobility placed at 300 francs CFA during the day and 350 francs CFA at night. These rates constitute a ceiling per kilometer to ensure a certain uniformity in travel costs across the country. These fare adjustments aim to ensure equitable access to transportation services while taking into account recent economic changes related to fuel prices. The adjustment comes following the increase in fuel prices with the aim of harmonizing prices and providing clear information to users. It should be recalled that the increase in fuel prices has had a devastating impact on the daily lives of Cameroonians. To remedy the situation, the government, among other measures, announced a 5% salary increase for civil servants and the increase of guaranteed minimum wage rates from 41,850 francs CFA to 43,696 francs CFA.
You heard right. Taxi fare now in Cameroon is 350 francs CFA officially. Now reactions keep coming from Cameroonians over the recent official hike or increase in the price of transport fare. The population of Douala complained the increase would adversely affect the budget and equally their living conditions. According to transporters, the government still has much to do in order to compensate for the increase in the price of fuel, a situation that has provoked tension between motorcyclists and taxi drivers and their passengers. Mala Glory with the details.
A bike rider at loggerhead with his passenger over the fare rate for a specific destination. The recent official hike in transport fare from 300 to 350 francs during the day and 400 francs at night has created a rift between transporters and passengers struggling to reach a consensus. Many complain the increase will strain their budget and worsen their living conditions.
Because if you want to calculate my transport fare every day, it's much. I spend about 1,500. Now I spend close to 2,000 francs.
Our boss they will not say they will increase your salary too based on the increase in transportation.
While taxi drivers and some travel agencies have promptly adjusted their fares, others are deliberating on how to implement the changes.
We are thinking of increasing the transport fare too, because to 8,000, it depends. For instance, VIP is 6,000, we can increase it to 7,000, 8,000 francs. The 3,000, we can increase it to 4,000.
Transporters on their part argue that the increase in the transport fare has little to compensate the increase in the cost of fuel, citing additional expenses that warrant government attention.
On est à 350.
Despite the 350 francs increase, we still have other challenges as everything is expensive. We pay high to get spare parts to fix our damaged cars. Car documents are expensive to establish, insurance fees as well. And when we are in need, they don't even help us.
Pour que l'assurance s'occupe, c'est tout un problème.
The population of Douala, just like elsewhere in Cameroon, continue to express worries over the escalating transport costs and its effect on the overall cost of living.
And now we take you to the northwest region. The 72-kilometer stretch of road linking Bamenda to Wom in the northwest region remains an ordeal to the road users and also the local population of Wom, who on a daily basis complain of the dilapidated state. The deplorable state of the road has resulted to increase insecurity in that area. A week ago, about 6 trucks were burnt down in the Bafut subdivision by suspected armed men. The situation, according to the locals, is getting out of hand, as Lucy Liengu Asia tells us in the report which comes up next.
They suffer plenty because we not get road. Bamenda road don't dey.
For years now, plying the Bamenda-Wom stretch in the northwest region is a daunting task for road users who are not only faced with the deplorable state but insecurity.
Somebody will leave Frawa straight for 3 days to come to Wom and come and enter another shop.
And people have been dying because of the bad nature of the road. I have seen people die in my clinic because of the bad nature of the road. I have seen people die in Wom District Hospital because of the bad nature of the road. We desperately need the roads.
Using a bike has been the only means of transport with exorbitant prices.
We don't want Kumta. We just want maintenance on that way, because from Wom to Bamenda, as an individual, I paid 20,000 francs on a bike when I am alone.
Business persons complain of incurring losses as most of their goods get bad along the way.
No man is buy because this one is all rotten. Would you really suffer? For even chop in no day.
Most companies are being threatened, and there are reports that money had been disbursed for the construction of the road in vain. A former senator from the Menhum says they are surpassed by the situation.
They are still using bikes in carrying corpses of dead people from Bamenda to Wom. The contract which has been awarded for the rehabilitation, which the rehabilitation is not part of the ring road. The ring road is to construct, no rehabilitation, and the contractor is still struggling. It's also managing, whereby the insecurity alone is also threatening the situation, of which few days ago we're told that 6 trucks were being burned down on the road.
They call on the government to help rehabilitate the road, which has been giving them sleepless nights before the rainy season opens its doors.
And now, because of the Anglophone crisis, so many persons are displaced across the national territory. Thousands of them are present in Yabasi. Yabasi is a locality in the Nkam division of the Littoral region. They now have a new president for the Anglophone community. The new president of that Anglophone community in Yabasi in the Nkam division is Babila Sigala Claude. He urges the government to support IDPs living in the area so they can have a better life. He also praised the natives of the area for accepting the Anglophones on their land. He was speaking during the installation ceremony that took place in Sole. Greater details with Immaculate Fogwe.
After fleeing from the conflict northwest and southwest regions, as a result of the continuous killings, kidnappings, burnings and other atrocities committed. These victims of the crisis are now seeking refuge in Yabassi, Kam Division, littoral region of Cameroon. Though out of danger, the people say they are experiencing economic hardship given that they had to start life from scratch.
We don't have water in Sole. We have only one forage here in Sole. We have population about 3,000 inhabitants only in Sole. So we don't have water. I'm pleading the government that I am the president of the Anglophone community, Canton Bajop Ndopinda. Even the IDP that are suffering a lot. I'm pleading the government that they should come out to help these IDPs. Because we have wrote a lot of letters to them. They have not ever replied.
While installing the new president of the Anglophone community of Canton Bachokwenda, the population say they are optimistic that his reign will enhance close collaboration between Anglophones and the natives of the area. We are proud to have created an association like this, which brings together Anglophones in Yabassi. We are happy that the natives of the village accepted us.
The main problem is that those Ototoni in Sole, in Canton Bajom de Penda, they are my brothers. I am not here to fight with them. We are here with even my brothers here who is the Bassa people. I don't have any problem with them. The Anglophone community don't have any problem with them. So I have installed this association, the whole Canton Bajom de Penda, so that we have to peace have to reign within us.
Natives of the village who took part in the installation ceremony described Anglophones living in the area as peace-loving and hard-working. They went ahead to assure them of their continuous support.
And now let's come to the humiliation which was meted on the mayor of Ngomezab in the Nyong and So division of the Central region during a public event by its organizers. It has been considered as a sabotage to public institution. They deprived her of the microphone and gave the privilege to her second deputy. A political analyst, Dr. Nick, attributes this to political fight and settling of scores. Innocent Aze.
This is the mayor of Ngomezab, up to deliver a speech at the opening of an annual event in her municipality. Due to a conflict she allegedly had with the state authority, she receives the greatest embarrassment of her life as her speech was interrupted and the microphones taken off. To ignite flames on the mayor, the privilege was given to her second deputy, who was instructed to take her precious time to deliver the speech on behalf of the council.
Madame le deuxième adjoint au maire de Ngomezab, qui a été désigné et impliqué à l'organisation de ce forum et qui tient dans le mot de circonstance.
Such has been qualified by some Cameroonians as a big blow to institutional power.
I understand there are fights within camps out there, but if you look at it very carefully, we seem to have all these kind of fights everywhere, in government offices, among staff, and it's understandable because we are not used to working in teams. We have never been trained to work in teams. We fight each other for influence, we fight each other for power.
In his analysis, Dr. Ningwanyam regrets governments and local officials often tussle over power to in turn misuse it.
The population in Ngomezab couldn't care whether the lady is right or whether the minister is right. It's none of their business. It's on foot. All they are interested in is use the power to solve the problems in the community. It is personal gains and all these calls and so on that's causing these problems.
In order to put a definite end to sabotage of institutional power, the political analyst suggests
the best way to evaluate this is to go in there and find out what each of these people who are fighting, what they do on their own or have done on their own in life without the help of the state.
By so doing, scores settling and abuse of institutional power will stop.
And now to the far north region, inhabitants of the Mayo Tanaga division continue to live in horror and fear within a space of 2 months. Many of them, including men and women, have been kidnapped by unknown individuals who demand huge sums for ransoms. In a bid to curb the phenomenon, security forces of the Gendarmerie Company of Mayo Tanaga have launched a manhunt leading to the arrest of one suspect out of 5. 4 others are still on the run, as Lucy Liengu tells us in the report, which comes up next.
Insecurity remains a major challenge faced by the population of the Mayo Tanaga division of the Far North region. In 2 months, hundreds of people have been kidnapped, with ransom demands estimated at more than 250 million francs CFA. Last week, a trader in the town of Hina was held hostage. To put an end to these atrocities, the population alerted the elements of the Mokolo Gendarmerie Company. Investigations launched led to the arrest of a suspect. And with the collaboration of the population, we could lay hands on one suspect out of 5. The suspects are said to be civilians from 3 countries, Chad, Cameroon and Nigeria, who decided to create a group with modus operandi kidnapping for ransom. They have as modus operandi kidnapping people who are somehow rich or those they investigated to be very rich. The suspect had in his possession a gun, ammunition, daggers and some other items.
Aujourd'hui, nous tenons à remercier la population qui a compris déjà, qui essaie de nous fournir les renseignements.
Another manhunt, launched following a complaint from the population, also led to the arrest of an alleged bandit who, according to security forces, made away with a bike. Elements of the Mokolo Gendarmerie Company encouraged the population not to relent their efforts in denouncing suspicious cases.
And now out of Cameroon in Nigeria, Nigeria is currently experiencing serious economic crisis in a generation leading to widespread hardship and anger. The Nigeria Labour Congress, the NLC, has organized nationwide protests calling for more action from the government. And over to Senegal, President Macky Sall announced his plans for a general amnesty for political demonstrators. Let's now have more on the stories with Cedric Chakutu.
In Nigeria, the NLC, the Nigeria Labour Congress, stormed the street nationwide in protest against the biting economic hardship and rising cost of living in the country. The NLC president, Joe Ajero, earlier on Sunday reaffirmed the decision to go ahead with the protest, threatening total shutdown of the economic activities nationwide. On the other hand, the Trade Union Congress, TUC, is maintaining its position not to join the protest. Meanwhile, human rights groups, including the Joint Action Front, GAF, and the Coalition for Revolution, CA, took the streets of Lagos early on Monday to voice their discontent over the escalating cost of living and soaring food prices. The demonstration, staged despite warnings from Lagos State Commissioner of Police Adegok Fayed, aimed to highlight the economic struggles faced by Nigerians. And elsewhere in Senegal, in a significant move towards reconciliation, President Macky Sall expressed his intention to submit a bill to the National Assembly calling for amnesty for political acts related to demonstrations during the specific period. This proposal aims to foster unity and create a conducive environment for the electoral process.
I'll be submitting to the National Assembly this Wednesday in the Council of Ministers a bill for a general amnesty for acts relating to political demonstrations that took place between 2021 and 2024.
However, tensions remain high as rejected candidates as Aliou Sarr highlighted Senegal's rich political history, emphasizing the importance of national dialogue in ensuring democratic alternations of power.
I have come as a free citizen, but also as a citizen who is heir to a political history of Senegal, which is punctuated by national dialogues, the most illustrious being that of 1993, which gave us this consensual agreement that has enabled us to have 4 alternations in Senegal.
Despite Sall's reassurance, the 16 presidential candidates have boycotted the national dialogue, demanding immediate clarity on the election date following a court order earlier this month.
And now we talk sports. Chief Dr. Joseph Diongute, the Prime Minister, has received the President of the Cameroon Football Federation, Fika Futsa Meletofis, and the head coach of the senior men's national football team, Rigobert Song Bahanak in audience today. It was an occasion for the different parties to discuss the way forward for the national football team, which has recorded poor results recently. This is becoming or coming at a time when Rigobert Song Bahanak's contract comes to an end as head coach of the senior men's national football team, the Indomitable Lions, this Wednesday. Smart Jikan Gabriel talked to some sports journalists and put together this report for the news.
His appointment on February 28, 2022 to the position of the coach of the national men's senior football team was welcomed by so many Cameroonians as his contract comes to an end. Some Cameroonians want Rigobert Song not to be maintained as the trainer of the Lions.
Song be maintained as the head coach of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. It's a no, 23 matches, 8 draws, 9 defeats, 6 wins. That's bad for the Indomitable Lions of the country.
If you look at the balance sheet of Rigobert Song, there's no company anywhere in the world that will have the kind of ugly balance sheet that Rigobert Song that they will be keeping him. So I think that the best thing to be done as far as Cameroon football at the moment is concerned is just to fire Rigobert Song. Rigobert Song does not merit to be the head coach of the Indomitable Lions.
Some of the sports journalists we met on the streets say no right-thinking official will renew the contract of Rigobert Song.
If there is anyone who is planning to maintain Rigobert Song as the head coach of the Indomitable Lions, that one should not certainly be a Cameroonian, because a majority of the Cameroonians want Rigobert Song to be fired. Rigobert Song has proven that he actually has nothing to offer to Cameroonians. I mean, as far as football is concerned, we've seen his past very poor track record.
But they do have some suggestions to make for the new trainer.
Someone else with a different mentality, someone else with a different policy, someone else with a different idea should come in.
If we have to replace the coach with a foreigner, I suggest let his assistant be of the same grade with the coach that will be chosen.
Though not confirmed, it's alleged, except for last-minute changes, Rigobert Song won't have a contract renewal owing to his catastrophic results at the helm of the national senior men's football team, the Indomitable Lions.
And sad sports report by Smart Jikan Gabriel viewers brings us to the end of this edition of the news. Thank you so much for always being with us. Don't go away. Our programs continue. Equinoxe comes up at 7 p.m. and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television. Bye-bye for now and see you again tomorrow.